Hello, everyone. This week we are continuing Autism Awareness Month by spreading awareness about the condition. To help me in doing so, I've invited one of my best friends and mods, Sunnie, to discuss about her experience with autism. We will also be answering questions you may have been interested to know about the condition. If you do go on to enjoy this episode, please take a minute to rate this podcast as it does help in getting this podcast to reach more listeners. Also, don't forget you can listen to the podcast on my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/Sammy'sUniverse1, and on Apple Podcasts too. Just search Respawn on the Spectrum. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. Well, Sunnie, welcome to the podcast.
Hey, thank you so much for having me.
We're going to obviously first off, mention that Sunnie also has autism, for people who don't know that already. So, before we'll ask the question about, how did you know you got autism and how does it impact your life?
Yeah, so, I've had it my whole life, but I didn't get actually diagnosed until about 4 years ago.
Ooh,
so I have the special flavor of autism. That is ADHD. So to explain it in maybe easier terms for everybody, kind of more nerdy terms, but you'll probably all understand. It feels like my brain is running two different operating systems at the same time. So it's like Windows and Mac, kind of like Windows and Apple at the same time. Yeah. One wants calm, order, everything scheduled, everything all organized. And the other one just wants stimulation, impulse, it just chaos. It's pure chaos. Even the most simple things can feel like basically a tug of war in my head.
Yeah.
Something as simple as saying hi is do I say hi to that person? No, I need to do certain things before I say hi to that person. It's
wild. To be fair, it's like an obstacle race, isn't it? When you're trying to have a communication with someone.
That's literally what it is. It's like basically having a whole thing of cats, and you have to control the cats. Well, you're not going to control the cats. You just have to find some type of chaotic order that works.
Yeah. It's like you're not saying hello. You're trying to make an excuse to why you would say hello.
Yeah, exactly. Even though saying hello doesn't even need an excuse. It's just that's how my brain functions.
I think it's safe to say that's how any autism person functions. Yeah, they're not going to say hello straight away. They're going to, come up with an excuse to give you a conversation because, we're going to have a reason to say something to you. Yeah, that's literally us, basically. So the next question we have to ask is, when it comes to mixing with people, what is it like mixing with people with autism? As a female with autism, what is it like to try and mix with people?
I think for me, it's a little bit easier because I'm a woman. And I say that's probably the weirdest thing I've ever said, by the way, that sentence. Because nothing as a woman is easy. Can't confirm. But I find with women, we mask a lot easier. So we force eye contact. We learn how to read body movement before we learn how to form a sentence when we're a kid. We learn how to mimic others very quickly. We rehearse conversations either in our head or out loud. We have a lot of different things that we usually get taught from a very young age, whereas maybe some guys don't.
Yeah.
And so I felt like that helped me blend in, socially. Although I still got bullied. I was still the weird kid because I had very odd interests. Whereas everyone else in my grade was talking about, boys or girls or, makeup or nails or, all these really, normal things to kind of obsess over.
So basically, it's just the typical, when girls fancy a guy, they just talk about that all the time, basically, is what he's...
Yeah,
Yeah.
and meanwhile, I'm like, I don't get it.
I mean,
I've never felt that way. Like, it's just not a thing
I
for
mean,
me.
I guess in their sort of perspective, it's pretty much like, I mean, how do you put it? Really, I think it's kind of like, oh, I guess they're just interested in like having a relationship with a guy or something, or clearly that's like a young people's thing. Yeah, it's one of those. But yeah, that's autistic people don't want to rush into that. We just want to rush in with stuff where we're kind of the nerdy stuff that people don't talk about, like video games. I mean, me and Sunny connect through video games, for instance.
Yeah,
Um,
like I feel like
yeah,
if I see somebody who's attractive, mind you, like I'm married happily, but
yeah,
if I see somebody who's attractive and like back in the day when I was single, I would basically say, "Oh, well that person's I guess like pretty or like they're handsome or something."
yeah,
But that's as far as that went. Like I didn't do much else with that information. I was just like, "Okay, cool."
yeah,
I don't know. That's not my be all end all. Like I had to really like connect with that person, talk with that person for a very long time to establish an actual connection with
yeah.
them before even considering something like that. And usually it was always like them being like, "Hey, we should date." And I
Yeah.
was like, "Okay, sure. Why not? Like let's try it."
Yeah,
Meanwhile,
I
my
mean,
husband was one of the first people that I ever asked out.
wow. That
Yeah.
just shows that when you know you've got the right person, then
I
you
did it
know.
very bluntly. He said no.
Yeah. I mean, it
I
takes
told him I liked
multiple.
his face.
I mean, it takes multiple tries to get a yes from someone, and I get it. It's I mean, I'm still yet to find my special one, just to say,
You know what?
but
I just went up to him and I was like, "Hey, I like your face. We should go on a lunch date." I literally said it exactly like that. I'm not even joking you. And he just
yeah,
was like, um, no? And I was like,
yeah,
okay. I took it for what it was. I was like, he said no. I'm good with that. And I just
yeah,
like walked away. Wasn't hurt, nothing. I was like, he gave me his answer. It was loud and clear.
yeah.
That's perfectly fine. Um, went on to find, somebody else in the meantime. And 3 years later, I came home and like I moved back in with my parents briefly. And it was really funny because the same guy, my husband, messaged me and he's like, "Hey, I like your face. We should go on a lunch date." Because he was just trying to quote me back to me. And I was like, "All right, cool, let's go. Like, I'm in." And we went
That
and it
just
was
I
the
love it.
best. And yeah, we've been together ever since.
That's
But it
that's
took
that's
us
just
like a while to get back together. But
yeah,
we were still friends in the meantime. Like,
yeah,
he said no. I respect that. Like, he gave me a very clear, direct answer. That's good. That's what I wanted. I
yeah,
wanted to know, like, no, I'm not interested. Okay, cool. Moving on.
yeah,
You want to talk
exactly.
video games? Like, that's literally all we talked about, too. That and snowboarding and a few
Yeah,
other things.
yeah,
It was
exactly. I
hilarious.
mean, and this is the thing with us autism people. We want direct. Can't even say the word now. Directedness. We want direct responses
Yes.
to stuff.
It
We
helps so
want
much. Like,
yeah,
don't do the between the lines thing. First of all, I'm not going to get it.
yeah,
Second of all, come on, just say what you want. It's very
yes.
easy. I promise you. It sucks and it's scary, but honestly, it's what we prefer.
Now, of course, when talking about having autism, there's always hurdles that we have to come across. So, what's been the biggest hurdle for you, Sunny, about having this?
I think for me, it was just how I had been masking without
Mm,
realizing I was for years and years and years. Always thinking like something is wrong with me because I'm not like the other kids or other teens or, anything like that. But I think that was probably the most struggle is like, why can't I be interested in these things like my friends are? Or
yeah,
why can't I do like these things? Why can't I feel that certain way about something? Whereas now, obviously, I know why. It's a breath
yeah.
of
You're
fresh
good. You're
air,
good.
honestly. Um, And it's like, right, relationships were a big thing because I didn't know what I was allowed to say, what I wasn't allowed to say. There's certain situations where, I would say the wrong thing and then people would get mad at me, but not tell me what I did wrong. That was another big thing, because
Yeah.
I didn't really know any better. Mind you, I learned from those experiences. Once somebody was like, oh, well, you shouldn't have done this at, or you shouldn't have said this at this person's party.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
that gives me what I need to apologize about. Now I know that that is not an acceptable behavior. I can now change that behavior. So, like, little things like that. I guess it was
Yeah.
more the social everything, and it still kind of is the social part of everything. Because, like, yes, I'm more outgoing. Yes, I have like a more happy, bubbly personality, and I'm a yapper, but that doesn't mean that I make relationships or maintain relationships easily either. Like, I'm really awful at reaching out a
Yeah.
lot of the time, because one, I don't know when I can do it and what to say when I do.
Yeah, that's perfectly understandable. It really is. It's yeah, it's there's so many hurdles for an autistic person to overcome. I mean, obviously, the biggest one for me really is just try to make friends, which I do, which obviously is kind of that leads into the question about what is the hardest part in making friends with as a female autistic person.
I feel like it's harder. Like,
Yeah.
as kids, we're told, oh, yeah, you go up and you say, hey, want to be friends? And it's that simple.
No.
But it's not that simple, first of all. They lied. They lied to us.
Yeah. Oh
Uh,
yeah, they did. They did.
it is very hard making friends when you're a little bit different because you'll go up and you'll try to strike a conversation, and either they're going to take it as like, why is this person talking to me? Or they're going to take it as, okay, this person's talking to me, let me listen. And you can't judge which one it is, like how they're feeling. Like, for us, like women who, mask and everything like that, and we learn body language very early, still hard to tell. It's like, I don't know if this person hates me or not. And it's just awkward. And it's like, hey, I also do this thing. Do you want to hang out sometime? And then sometimes if they say no, maybe it's just because they're busy. I immediately take that as,
Yeah.
okay, they're not interested in being my friend. But that's okay. Like, it's not a bad thing. It's just like, okay, that's okay. They don't want to hang out. I'm okay with that. But a lot of the time, it's me misreading the situation of, they just can't that day. And I just don't think to offer multiple days or anything, because that's just not
Yeah.
something that comes to mind, right? It's
Oh no, it
just like,
doesn't.
I just find like, okay, oh, we could do it this day. Okay, so you don't want to do it, kind of idea is how my internal monologue goes. And it's not on them at all, because maybe they still, like I said, they probably still want to do something, but I've just taken that as like a straight. So
Oh
it's
yeah,
the
exactly.
clear language, like the communication is very important. And I find that a lot of that is usually missing with people, unless you tell them right away, like, hey, I need very direct answers because I'm autistic. And I will not understand otherwise unless you tell me.
Exactly.
But obviously you don't want to lead with that. So it's
No.
it's weird. It's awkward.
I mean, that it's kind of the same for me, really. Whenever I get a new friend, there's always this thing where, I mean, okay, I'll admit, I'm the guy who kind of messages them the most compared to they do. That's me. That's not because I'm trying to be annoying or anything. I'm just trying to kind of
Yeah, you
chat,
just
have a
reach out.
conversation. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm trying to reach out, like people would say, reach out for your friends, because I get told it a lot by a lot of my friends. So I'm kind of reaching out and everything. But I know sometimes they could. I mean, I don't know whether they'll see it as annoying or anything, but I don't know. It's just this. I know there's times that they wouldn't respond, and then I get I guess, a little concerned or worried that, oh no, am I about to lose this friend? Am I about to, not hear or see them again? Am I not gonna am I not gonna hear them like talking to me and interacting with me anymore? And it's kind of one of those sort of, I don't know, backwards and forwards moments where you think, oh, it's some like, have I done something wrong? Have they done something wrong? I mean,
Yeah,
you can understand
exactly.
that, Sunny, right? Because I'm trying to make it sense
Absolutely.
to people.
Yeah, no,
But
that to me that makes a lot of sense.
because it's such a like hard thing to try and like because they probably have boundaries of like don't like always text them when they're busy and stuff. And for us autism people, we kind of just message because we just want to show that we love and care for the friends we have. Not to just be seem like boring, but we just like to let them know that we exist and we're here and we're just there for them. That's kind of the message I'm trying to get out there. It's like, look, we're here for you. We're not sure, be direct with us with stuff by all means, but we're here for you. We're here to
Exactly.
yeah. But
Like we're in your
yeah.
corner, but you just have to tell us. And even if
Yes.
it's like it's hard to tell us certain things, even just saying, I'm not doing so good right now. Okay, like that gives us an idea that like okay, our friend needs help, and it gives us the opportunity to say, is there something I can do? Do you want to rant, or do you want us to like help you solve a problem? Like what, like
Yes.
I feel like that's the easiest way to describe it.
Yeah, exactly. We want to be useful. We want to be useful. And I guess in a way we want to feel like we're kind of home when we speak when we're with our friends. We want to feel like we're I guess in a way feel like we're a family member in a way. If that if people see it that way. But it's just that's kind of how I see it. And then but then of course we come to a two-part question now. Well, first things first, should schools and colleges have best buddy classes for autistic people? And more importantly, is there any and obviously I know obviously for Sunny, she'll obviously I'm sure there's probably a friend that she remembers being partnered with and that she would love to like see and hear from again. But and also make sure to let people know what the best buddies class is, sorry, because I'm sure people are going to be fascinated to hear this.
So the Best Buddy program is something that we do in high schools here in southwestern Ontario. And what it is um, normal people, and I do normal people with air quotations because at the time I was normal. Uh, but
Yes,
most like normal students that don't have any autism or ADHD or like everyone is welcome to do it.
yeah.
So you get paired up with somebody who is in the developmentally challenged classes. So that could be like somebody with Down syndrome. That could be somebody that is nonverbal for autism. It could be like it's a very wide range of the people that are in those classes because they need the extra care and attention, which understandable.
Yes.
So what you do with the Best Buddies program is you would have time like outside of your schedule and you would make time to go and hang out with one of those people. You were buddied with somebody randomly, you didn't get to pick. Like you got to basically say whether you wanted a boy, girl, or like non-binary, or if you didn't care. I checked off I didn't care because I'm like, I'm going to probably get along with whoever I get buddied with, so I'm good. And I got paired with like the most amazing human, Mahabad. So she had Down syndrome, has Down syndrome. She's still alive.
Of course.
But she was like one of the coolest people ever. She was quite a bit younger than I was in that point. Like she was in like grade 9 and I was in grade like 11 or 12 at the time.
Wow.
So we were in very different grades, but I kind of liked it because it gave her like this extra confidence boost. I felt like because she was like doing all her classes and like going through everything and whatever. And I could still like help her with like homework. I could still like do other little things. Like we went out to the mall. She could sing, she could dance. She was like triple threat. Girl, I hope she's doing well. I know her family is, but like I hope she is doing well herself. And
let's hope so.
yeah.
Let's hope she's listening because I think it'd be lovely for you two to like reunite and stuff after all these years. And
absolutely, I would love to see her.
I mean, who knows? She might be a mom by now. I'm just saying, like that stuff, unexpected stuff happens. Yeah.
Yep, you never know. But yeah, she is just like a fantastic human. She was just so sweet, so like, she's just so cute, and like most of the people in her class were very similar. It's like they all had these hidden talents and were like the coolest people. And I just found that it was just so much nicer being in their classroom versus a regular classroom because everyone there was just so direct and was like, hey, you hurt my feelings. And the other person went, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. This is what I wanted. And then it was done. Like they accepted the apology. They moved on. It was done. And I was like, dude, can regular life be like this? That'd be great. I would like that very much. But it was nice because a lot of like normal kids would also sign up for it. And it helped with extra like almost protection for those students as well.
Yeah.
Because obviously, like in other places around the world, a lot of times kids like that get bullied the most, which is obviously not okay. So it was nice that we got to be paired up with them. And like people really like had that connection and became friends with these people that they were buddied up with and like the class and other things, to the point of where like a bunch of normal students would bring their friend groups over to like say hey and like hang out and whatever. And then more students would like start mingling with them, which was even better.
Yeah.
And so if we heard of anybody that was like trying to bully those kids, we were like, parking lot, let's go. We're taking you down. You just bullied like the sweetest human. Like, get out of here. Like, what are you doing? So it was very much like it was great in terms of socialization, but it was also great in the fact of like we had those kids' backs. They didn't have to worry about a thing.
Yeah.
They were very protected. Like somebody was caught being mean to them, they're done. They're gone.
So that's called protecting the people that you care about. That's, I mean, what else is there to say on that front? It's just, honestly, it's such a shame I never had a program like that. And I don't think there's even a program like that in the UK as far as I'm aware. It's just, I think in the UK, you've just been kind of taught to just get used to everybody and just cope with it. I feel like best buddy programs should exist in the UK schools, in my opinion, because there's probably a lot of autistic people right now who are probably struggling, probably went through some of the stuff I've gone through, which is like getting bullied every day and just basically be your own survivor. And I just hope that stuff like that can come to this country. And it will help so many autistic people because it needs to. Yeah, it's just lovely. It's just lovely that especially it's lovely to hear that Sunnie was able to get a friend, get a friend that she's able to like meet her family, and hopefully I hope she really does get in contact with you. I really do now, because
last I heard she was at college, like out of town.
Wow.
So likely that's probably why we lost contact, because I also moved out of town, changed my number, all these other things. And then she obviously has now moved out of town and is like, apparently she's thriving, which I love to hear. And yeah, she went to college for dance and everything. And I'm like, yes, like, I'm so glad she went and is doing that.
I mean, to be fair, you did persuade her to take on that role, because you told her to like go for it, go for these dreams and stuff.
Oh, hell yeah. She was amazing. Like, I did competitive dance as a kid.
Yeah.
And she was far better than I was. So I was like, you need to go do this immediately. Okay, thanks.
Honestly, I hope she listens, and I hope she gets into contact with you again, because it'll be just nice. It'll be lovely to just see, like, engage with someone you haven't spoken to in so long. There's stuff like that. It's just wonderful when you get to reunite with people that you like were really good friends with at school and stuff. I didn't really have any friends out of my school, so I don't really have anyone to reunite with. I'm just fortunate to have the friends I've got right now. Of course, having autism. What have you actually learned about yourself whilst having it, Sunnie?
Things I've learned, I'd say probably more so after diagnosis, is
Mm.
I now know how to just handle things maybe a little bit differently. Like I understand better why my brain works the way it does, and it gives me more
Yeah.
insight of like how to battle it without trying to do a million things, just trying like one or two things that work really well. So yeah, I
Yeah.
found that that has really helped a lot. And
Well,
also
that
obviously having friends that kind of get it and like being a little bit more open of like, hey, I'm a very direct person, so I need you to also be direct with me. Otherwise, I'm not going to understand. I don't have to mention autism. I just mention like, look, I'm very direct. Now, if they're close enough, I go, yes. By the way, I have like ADHD, so I do need it very, very direct.
that's important to have that. I'm actually glad that you've learned that about yourself in like the years that you've even the years when you didn't even know you had autism, you've learned all of that, and that makes honestly that's what makes me really proud about Sunny in general. Just the fact that she's trying to come to terms with it for a very long time, and then now she's just thriving from it all, and that's just lovely and wonderful. Now the big question, now of course the big question is, because I know there's going to be people asking this question as well: are men more likely to have autism than women? Are both genders likely?
I think men and women get autism equally. I think it's just that men fit into those classic signs based on how autism like shows up, kind of idea. Whereas women present it much differently usually, where it's completely missed or diagnosed way later because we mask. So like we copy social behavior, like I said, before we even learn how to use words. We rehearse conversations in our head. We hide sensory struggles, and we're taught to hide sensory struggles because if we don't, you're not a lady, kind of idea. So like, oh, stop, you know, fussing around in that dress. Well, that dress is made out of a material that I can't handle on my skin. But
Yeah,
as a kid, we're told, nope, you shouldn't be fussing in that. Like, this is how this works. So you sit there and you accept it, and then they tell you, like, beauty is pain. Like, you have to deal with this to be normal. So then you just assume, okay, so this is normal. I don't like normal, but I'll do it anyway,
yeah.
kind of
I mean,
idea. If it
I
makes
mean,
me pass.
I feel like it just makes you feel comfortable in doing what you want to do. Really, you shouldn't be like. Firstly, I just don't think anybody with autism should be judged about what they're doing. If they feel comfortable in doing it, then do it.
Yeah. And like the
Don't.
whole thing
Yeah.
is a lot of the time it's like there's a bunch of autism struggles that just aren't caught because they don't fit into like the usual things that would determine autism. And because we mask like so early and so easily, a lot of women internalize it, and it eventually
Hmm.
turns into even more like anxiety or depression or those types of things. But as girls, we also get really like very intense interests. But when we hear everyone else's socially acceptable interests, we try to get interested in some of those things or at least learn some of those things so that we can pass without being detected.
I mean, that's the way. I think that's just the perfect way of describing that. And I'm sure there's going to be some women and men that are going to be like not obviously there are going to be some that are going to be wondering have I got this, have I not got this, where do they start into finding out and talking to, because they there's got to be people to talk to for these people, right, to find out whether they've got this condition or they haven't.
Like my parents took me to the family doctor when I was like, I don't know, 10.
Hmm.
Because they were like, oh, well, maybe something's wrong with her. And
Uh,
they took me to the doctor and he's like, do you feel okay? I'm like, yeah. And like I answered the most basic questions that were not even remotely anything to do with autism or anything because it wasn't as widespread back then. And obviously, like
Oh
we were
yeah,
from a
yeah,
very little town. Like this is not a big city doctor. This is like a guy who like basically did all of his education here. And
yeah.
and So he's like, yeah, like, I don't see anything wrong. Like, she just has different interests. She's, she's a kid. Like, let her be a kid. So they didn't really notice anything else. And then when I was around 30, I finally just said, I think I should just go get tested. Like, I've been on the fence about it for years and years and years and years and years. Why don't I just go and just see if it's actually a thing? I went, and the way they diagnosed me so fast.
Wow,
They're like,
really fast?
like, we did all the tests, and they're like, yeah, I know we're gonna have to wait for some stuff to come back, but like, I think it's pretty obvious that you're definitely autistic. And I was like, oh, that's a little concerning. That this is because like obviously I'm like at the time I was very ignorant, and I'm like, oh, does that mean like I'm really messed up? Like, the damn, all right.
Yeah, no.
Meanwhile, they just were mentioning about how I reacted to certain tests, and they're like, oh no, it's not that, it's not a bad thing. It's basically that your brain works like this and does this, and when we get all these things tallied up and everything goes through, I think that this might be your diagnosis. And sure enough, it came back exactly what they said. But it was just funny that the doctor just said exactly what he thought it was, and he described it. And I'm like, I have never felt so seen in my entire life. Like, in my brain. That's
a good thing.
Which is a really good thing. Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, that, like, I don't know how, but you read my mind. Like, that's exactly how I feel. And he's like, yeah, I have a feeling that we're going to have this diagnosis. It's something I'm pretty familiar with. Like, my kids have it. So I'm a little bit more tuned into it than a lot of the others. And I was like, okay, like, that totally makes sense. Like, I get it. And then, telling my parents, that was a fun adventure.
Yeah. Like, so hey, how did that go? How did that go, by the way, that like explaining that to your family? Because I'm sure there's people who are newly autistic are going to need to tell their families they're feeling shy. They don't know how to go about it.
The way I did it is not for everybody. I waited till my family was like, we were having a family get together. So it was my parents, my brother, my sister, and like all of their kids. And I just kind of walked in and I'm like, hey, guess who has autism? This guy.
And I mean, that's kind of...
I didn't know how else to say it. And they're just like, what? And I was like, yeah, by the way, I have ADHD. This is what it means. Cool. Good talk. And then I just kind of went over to like pour myself water or something. And they're like, no, you can't just like drop that and like not tell us anything else. I'm like, would you expect anything differently from me? And they're like, honestly, no, but also like, we do need a little bit more detail.
I mean, they probably thought it was like a concerning issue or something. I don't know. I mean, that's how I read it.
It wasn't even that they thought it was concerning. I think it was just that they were confused. They were like, is this a joke? Like, this isn't a very funny joke. Like, I don't understand. So once they started asking questions, they're like, oh, okay, that makes sense. My parents still to this day are like, she's fine.
Yeah, they try to deny it.
Yeah, they'll try to deny it, but like, it is what it is. I'm really not that worried about it. I mean, they're okay with it, and if anything, good things came out of it, because my sister, like, when she was asking questions and when my other family members were asking questions, she kind of thought back and she's like, I think maybe we should get like my nephew tested. And so they went, and turns out he actually has a different form of autism. And it's higher on the spectrum, because she's like, if we hadn't have had this conversation, I would have never thought to go get him tested. But
that's a good thing.
Rang a bell. Like, everything made so much sense for what I've seen on the outside. And I can't imagine how he's felt on the inside all these years without having that. So so he's now diagnosed, which is great. So now he has, like, obviously the tools to help him, further himself in life, which is great. And he's taken those really well. he's got a job, he's got his own place, he's really got himself together, which is fantastic. And he's like, if I hadn't have known what was going on, I probably would have driven myself crazy. And
Yeah.
it would have just led to more and more depression at the end of the day. And I was like, good, then I'm glad that, we had this conversation and I could just be that stepping stone for you to figure it out. Because, even if there's people out here that are listening and you think like you're on the fence and you're thinking of going and getting tested, just do it. Because if you're even thinking about it, you probably are. Let's be real. Everyone is somewhere on the spectrum, let's be real. But if you're thinking it and you're on the fence, just go do it. Because it's going to be the best peace of mind that you're going to do for yourself.
And also, it will help you in life. It'll help you get, I guess, at least, when you see doctors going forward, it will help them understand, okay, they're going to need some more directness when it comes to communication. They're going to know that now because they've got they've got the notes that say, look, you've been diagnosed as this, this, and this. So they've got that now. It's permanently in the record. That's why it's important, people, to get the diagnosis and find out if you're not sure if you have autism or not. Go and find out. Sunnie said it best. Just do it. Don't hesitate. Don't shy away. Don't question it. Just do it, because you never know. Maybe you'll feel proud enough to actually know, hey, this is me now. Because I mean, sure, I've accepted it all my life. I'm sure Sunnie's accepted it all for a while. So what have you got to lose? Viewers, what have you got to lose on that? Now, of course, there was a question that I got from obviously the community, Boldblade, where he asked. Now, obviously, this is obviously referring to the society side of things, where he asked, why do you think society has such a difficult time in accepting people with autism? In terms of the research I found on this, the sort of sense is it's like a combination of deeply ingrained culture stereotypes with a medical model frames of autism, basically us with autism being framed as disorder, and general lack of understanding for diverse ways of autistic people experiencing the world. So they basically just have lack of knowledge of what to do with us. How would you answer this question, Sunnie? Because I mean, society obviously sees us completely different to everyone else.
I think it's hard for people to accept autistic people because they're used to communication and behavior following certain unwritten.
Yeah.
Whereas, autism doesn't follow those rules, pretty much at all. And instead of questioning the rules, people often assume that the autistic person is the problem, when it's not really about autism being wrong at all. It's just about difference making people uncomfortable because that's not what they're used to.
It really is. And it amazes me how society likes to look at autistic people like the evil person and the enemy of all things, because I still don't buy that. I still don't buy that, us autistic people have to be sort of casted out. I guess that's the word to look at it. Casted out from stuff we want to do or have potential in. That shouldn't be that. Yeah. That shouldn't be a thing. We should be able to thrive in whatever we want to do. We should be able to, thrive in all our hopes and dreams. Especially for those who are young who have got autism, they probably have big dreams in their lives, and yet they're going to be, I guess currently they're going to be, dreaming about it, and then only to find out that their reality is to basically be like everybody else. No, they shouldn't be like that. They should be able to, fulfill the stuff they want to fulfill. They shouldn't be copying everybody else just because it says on a government paper, hey, this autism person has to follow these rules. No, we should be able to be our own human beings. And
as somebody from experience, as somebody with ADHD, it feels like I'm expected to translate myself constantly into a language that everyone else already speaks, but I don't. And people don't always realize what they see as normal is just one way of being. It's just one way of just being. It's not the only way.
Yeah, there's multiple ways. There's multiple ways to basically detect autism. Yeah.
Yeah, like, okay, you're gay, you're straight, you know, you're black, you're white, you're autistic, you're normal, like, you're depressed, you're anxious. Like, we're all just humans at the end of the day. Different humans are different humans. Like, why not just choose kindness and try to just go forward and, like, have better communication in general? Like,
Yeah.
better communication is really just going to bring us together at the end of the day.
It really is. It does sound to me that, any, I guess it's almost like anytime anyone has like a good idea to make the world better, it's like they get totally like, or I guess to do something kind for the autistic people, they get shot down immediately because they're like, oh, they can't do this. This is I feel insulted and everything. But no, they're just trying to do something good. They're trying to do something that make people happy, bring kindness to the world. Like, what? Why should
Yeah.
they be judged to let autistic people have a voice? Like, we should be able to have a voice. But as Sunny says, we're human beings, for Christ's sakes. We didn't just come to this world just to be something we're not. We came to this world to have our own dreams, our own passions, our own desires. And
Yeah.
I mean, for instance, like I said, me and Sunny, sharing our love for gaming. We should be allowed to be able to share our love for gaming. We shouldn't be told that we got to be something else. We're going to do what we feel is good for us. It just sucks. It really does. And I just hope, as Sunny said earlier, that I'm hoping that more and more people are going to choose kindness over everything else, every other noise that's in the world right now. They just treat, I guess, makes autism people just feel like we're the bad guys when we're not. We're just we're just trying to fit in. It's kind of the way I see it. We're just fitting in, and we're just trying to strive to just. So now we come to to obviously the final question of this lovely interview here, where we have to, obviously it's Autism Awareness Month for people who don't know that already, and there's websites for this, by the way. You can search it, you'll be able to find stuff that tells you about it. But I mean, I have to ask Sunny, why is it important for us to continue to spread awareness about autism in general?
I think it's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
awareness matters because autism isn't rare by any means. It's just widely misunderstood. So the more people that understand how, like, us autistic people think, communicate, experience the world, maybe the less those differences get mistaken for rudeness or laziness or just plain like being difficult, because the awareness is going to replace the judgment with context, and that's
yeah.
super important.
The amount of times I get called like lazy, or they judge me or whatever I do. Yeah, this is why awareness is important, people. We're not doing it just to bore the hell out of you. We're doing this because it's important stuff that you should be knowing, and and eventually, there's going to be people listening right now. They're you're going to come across a friend who has autism. You're eventually going to bump into it because I've probably bumped into a few. I'm sure Sunny's bumped in. As obviously said, she's bumped into people that have the same condition as her, and then I'm sure many others are going to be saying the same thing. This is why spreading awareness is an important factor, because it's going to make you basically understand autism so much better. Because when you do have that friend, you'll know how to communicate. You'll know how to you know be at least know you'll know how to be direct to us when you're upset about something. Because if you don't know this stuff now, then what is it going to be like in a few years when you do come across an autistic person? You don't know what to do.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
exactly. This is why this stuff is important, and why this autism awareness thing is real, because it makes you think about this stuff more and more. And I just hope that I'm just hoping that more and more people are going to take notice of it more, and actually appreciate like why these months exist. They're not doing it just to bore the hell out of you kids. They're trying to teach you something, and you learn something. Like I said, good things may very well happen. And
Yeah,
you,
exactly.
you, exactly. I mean, Sunny's learned a lot from all this, and I'm sure she'll tell you.
Yeah, honestly, like there's been so much that I've learned after diagnosis that has completely ripped down everything that I thought autism was in the first place.
He really has.
So yeah, just educate yourself. Ask a fellow aught today. I don't know.
Yeah. Just
we're pretty happy to answer questions, most of us.
Yeah,
So.
exactly. And I never be afraid to like ask questions about autism. Absolutely, you should be asking questions if you don't understand something. Don't be shy to want to say, "Hey, I don't understand this," and then someone will answer it. Yeah. But most importantly, though, I have to, thanks. Thank you, Sunnie. Not only you're like one of my best friends, but the fact that you're like the first guest on this podcast,
I'm so honored to be the first guest.
Honestly, I'm honored to have you, Sunnie. I'm honored to have you on this podcast, and I honestly hope that if you're a gamer and you love your horror games and stuff, you should definitely follow Sunnie because she loves her horror games. But yeah, she is just. She's just so lovely as a streamer, for those who haven't like followed her already. And by the way, she also has her own podcast about Canadian life. I thought I'd drop that line in there in case you're really interested in.
Shameless plug right here.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. But yeah,
if you're into cryptids, folklore, random Canadian lore, basically it's me telling you a bunch of Canadian facts and doing little spooky stories on each of our cryptids that are here. And yeah, if you guys like that kind of stuff, check it out for sure. But if you don't, that's completely cool, because Respawn on the Spectrum is also kind of an amazing podcast, and I'm super honored to be here.
I'm just honored to have you, really, really am. And honestly, people should follow Sunnie if you're like horror games and stuff. And we occasionally play Split Fiction. We need to finish at some point, but we will get there.
Yes.
But anyway, now of course next week we're going to have a 2-part discussion where we're going to discuss about autistic people's struggles with relationships. And when I say relationships, I'm talking about like dating and stuff. Yeah, it's going to be quite a conversation, that one. Sharing my sharing my experiences mixed with basically how every other autistic people struggles with that. This is Respawn of the Spectrum. Thank you for listening. Again, thank you for Sunnie, and continue to spread love and kindness.
Choose kindness always, guys.
Catch you in the next episode, people.